In the heart of Igboland, where the thick forests stretched far and wide and the rivers flowed with a gentle murmur, there was a small, peaceful village known as Emofia. The villagers lived in the harmony with the land, tending to their crops, raising livestock and celebrating life with songs and dances. But one year the rains did not come. The once fertile fields turned to dust, the rivers shrank to mere trickles, and the food stores dwindled. The villagers grew anxious, for they had never seen such a harsh time. The elders gathered in the village square, their faces etched with worry. "What shall we do?" asked Nika, a wise and kind-hearted old woman respected by all. "The crops have failed and our people are hungry. We must pray to the gods," suggested Obi, a strong and proud hunter. "Perhaps they will hear our cries and send us the rain we need." And so the villagers prayed day and night, offering sacrifices and singing song of a devotion. But the skies remained clear and the earth stayed parched. The villagers grew more desperate with each passing day. One day, as the sun beat down mercilessly on the dry land, Anansi the spider sat in the shade of a large iroko tree, watching the village from a distance. Anansi was known throughout the land as a trickster, a clever and mischievous creature who would outwit even the most formidable foes. He had used his cunning to get out of many tight spots and had gained a reputation for his cleverness. As Anansi observed the villagers' plight, an idea began to form in his mind. He had heard of a sacred drum guarded by Ek, the great python deep within the forest. This drum was said to have the power to bring abundance to anyone who played it with a pure heart. But Ek was a fearsome guardian, and many had tried and failed to claim the drum. Anansi knew that the villagers knew too frightened to face Ek, but he was not one to shy away from the challenge. "I am be small," he thought to himself, "but my wits will win the day. If I can bring the drum to the village, I will be hailed as a hero, and I will have all the food and riches I desire." With that, Anansi set off into the forest, his tiny legs carrying him swiftly over the undergrowth. He waved a wave of plans as he went, thinking of all the ways he would outsmart Ek and bring the drum to the village. As he journeyed deeper into the forest, the trees grew taller, their branches forming a thick canopy overhead, blocking out the sun. The air was cool and damp, and the sound of the forest chirping birds, rustling leaves, and the distant animal calls filled Anansi's ears. Finally, after hours of travel, Anansi reached the sacred clearing where the drum was kept. The clearing was bathed in a soft golden light that filtered through the trees, and in the center stood the great drum, its surface decorated with intricate carving of animals and symbols of fertility. But Anansi's eyes were drawn to Ek, the great python who lay coiled around the drum, his massive body shimmering with scales that caught the light. Ek's eyes were half closed, but Anansi knew that the python was always alert, always ready to strike at the first sign of danger. Anansi took a deep breath and approached the clearing with caution. He knew that he could not rely on strength to defeat Ek, for the python was far more powerful than he. Instead, he would have to use his wits as he had done so many times before. With a respectful bow, Anansi greeted Ek. "Oh, mighty Ek," he began, his voice smooth and charming. "I have come to admire your great wisdom and strength. The tales of our might are known far and wide, and I can see now that they are all true." Ek opened his eyes fully and regarded Anansi with a steady gaze. "What do you want, little spider?" he asked, his voice deep and resonant like the rumble of thunder. Anansi smiled as if he were simply enjoyed a casual conversation. "I seek only to learn from you, great Ek. You are the strongest and wisest of all creatures, and I wonder, is there anything in this world that could best you?" Ek, flattered by Anansi's words, lifted his head and replied, "None can best me, for I am the mightiest of all. I guard this drum, and no one has ever taken it from me." Anansi nodded thoughtfully. "Indeed, you are unmatched," he said. But even the mightiest of creatures need rest. It would be wise to take a moment to relax, for you must conserve your strength. I, of course, would be honored to watch over the drum in our place while you do. He considered Anansi's word. He had been guarding the drum for many years without a break, and the idea of resting, even for a short time, was tempting. After all, what harm could come from letting the small, insignificant spider watch over the drum for a while? Very well, Ig said, uncoiling himself from around the drum. But know this, little spider, if anything happens to the drum while I rest, I will find you, and you will not escape my wrath. Anansi bowed again, hiding his grin. Of course, great Ig, you have my word. With that, Ig slithered away to a shade spot at the edges of the clearing, where he coiled himself up and closed the eyes. Anansi watched him for a moment, making sure that Python was truly asleep, before turning his attention to the drum. The drum was larger than Anansi had expected, its surface smooth and cool to the touch. Anansi hesitated for a moment, wondering if he should simply take the drum and run. But he knew that Ig should surely catch him if he did. And besides, the drum's magic could only be released by playing it. Anansi took a deep breath and began to play the drum, his tiny hands tapping out a rhythm that came from deep within his heart. The sound of the drum filled the clear, echoing through the trees and vibrating in the earth beneath his feet. As he played, Anansi felt a strange energy coursing through him, as if the drum were channeling the power of the land itself. The rhythm of the drum grew stronger, faster, and Anansi played with all his might, his heart pounding in the time with the beats. The sound of the drum traveled far beyond the clearing, reaching the ears of the villagers in Imofia. Back in the village, the people looked up in the wonder as they heard the distant drumming. They felt the ground beneath them tremble, and they saw the skies begin to darken. Thick, heavy clouds gathered overhead, and the air was filled with the scent of rain. Then, with a sudden roar, the heaven opened, and the long-awaited rain poured down in torrents. The villagers cheered and danced in the rain, their hearts filled with joy and gratitude. The river swelled with water, the fields drank deeply, and the crops sprang to life as if touched by magic. The famine that had threatened their lives was washed away, and the village was filled with abundance once more. But Anansi, ever the trickster, did not stop there. He knew that the village would need more than just one rainfall to sustain them. So he continued to play the drum, waving his pail of prosperity that would last for generations, ensuring that the land would remain fertile and bountiful for years to come. When Anansi was satisfied, he carefully placed the drum back into the place and squared away, leaving no trace to his presence. He knew that it would awaken soon, and he did not want to be anywhere near the python when he did. Sure enough, Ig stirred from his slumber and slithered back to the drum, seeing it untouched and undisturbed. He assumed that nothing had happened while he slept. He returned to his post and where that Anansi had played the drum and unleashed its power. The villagers meanwhile celebrated their newfound prosperities, praising the gods for answering their prayers. They did not know that it was Anansi cunning that had brought the rain and saved them from famine. They believed that the gods had blessed them, and they offered thanks to the spirit to their good fortune. As for Anansi, he returned to his small corner of the village, content with his success. He had outwitted the mighty Ig and bowed abundance to the people of Imofia. He did not seek recognition or praise, for he was satisfied with the knowledge that he had used his wit to achieve something great. From that day on, the village of Imofia prospered, and the people lived in peace and happiness. The story of Anansi's cleverness spread far and wide, becoming a legend told by the fireside on dark night. And so it is said that when the rains come and the earth is rich with life, the people of Imofia remember Anansi, the trickster spider who outwitted even the mightiest of creatures to bring abundance to his people. The moral of the story is, true strength lies not in physical power, but in wisdom and cleverness. By using your intelligence and kindness, you can overcome even the greatest challenges and bring blessings to others.